how do we overcome hard situations, like life-changing situations? Life is a collection of ups and downs, and as kids, I hope that we experience more ups than downs. We don't get confronted with the harsh reality of life too often. And like choices, responsibility, and hardship hopefully come later in life. When I was 21, I talked about this, my accident. And honestly, that besides the aspect of it being life-changing, it was one of the hardest times in my life. Being 21, you hopefully feel invincible and you have not faced death or any of those very dire aspects of life already. And so it was the case for me that I have not, and that was the first time for me, and thankfully it was the first time for me. But I remember sitting in that machine and thinking, I don't want to die like this. And then waking up after emergency surgery in the ICU and not really knowing what happened after the first emergency operation. And I was happy to be alive, but I didn't really obviously understand the impact that this accident had on me. I spent 6 weeks at the hospital, and a lot of people came visit me, and everybody said the same thing, like, oh, you're so positive, it feels like you are in such a good mood. And I feel like I kind of reflected the strength that people tried to have in front of me. And also I once in a while hid my real emotions, obviously. I was 21, you don't cry in front of people necessarily, which is kind of stupid. But 6 weeks of just laying there, thinking about life, enjoying life, trying to think about the next steps, getting to know all the doctors, the staff, and of course, lots of visits by friends and family. And one thing that people constantly told me, that I took it with humor and I was still able to laugh, even in midst of this very new and serious situation. And then again, I compensated a lot of things, but in the quiet times I was mourning and I was crying, and I tried to adapt to my new normal life, but that obviously hit me once I got home. And the question that I got over the last couple of years multiple times, and I still get, is how do you manage to keep going? How do you manage to turn your life around so that you are positive and you don't lose your humor? And I feel most part is people. The people you surround yourself with, the people, community, friends, family, whoever you want to name, or whoever you want to. If you think of community, whoever you want to think of, it's those people that lift you up, that give you the strength. Like, I was looking forward to visits every day. I was looking forward to seeing people every day. I was looking forward to the normalcy of just having a fun conversation with a friend, watching movies, playing games, laughing, even going to David Hasselhoff concerts, which, there's so many moments in those 6 weeks that are so stuck with me, that gave me so much hope and happiness. The biggest thing was to look forward. I didn't have a plan necessarily, but I knew the steps that I had to take: go home, heal, prepare for the next operation, have the next operation, then do the same thing again. And then once I got out of the cycle, I had to face the fact of, okay, what do I want to do with my life? And just step by step going about my way, but then still do things that I would have done anyways, like attend a rock concert, festival, like do stuff that seem outrageously stupid, like with a massive band-aid around my hand, going to this dirty rock concert, sleeping on the ground in a tent, and just not even thinking about getting an infection or something. I got back into gaming it sounds stupid, but gaming was this massive thing before my accident. I knew once I was faced with the reality of not having fingers anymore in my right hand, I knew that I had to find a way to incorporate that thing again, because it made me feel normal. It made me feel nothing has changed. And I know a lot of people don't understand it, and I don't know a lot of people would not understand it. Like, oh, gaming, yeah, it's something that you can't do anymore, and there's so many other things you can do still, or you can find different things you can do. Or even things like, oh, gaming is so stupid, gaming is a waste of time, stuff like that, which is fine, it's their opinion, but at the same time, it brought me so much joy, and I had a community of gamers, of friends who gamed, and I didn't want to leave that behind, because it was not necessary. It meant finding a way. It meant finding a new path forward with what I did. And honestly, again, I don't know if I would have made it without them. I don't think I would have made it that far without friends and family. I always had a reason to look forward, and they always kept me moving. And I thankfully didn't stay put, because otherwise I would have fallen into a trap of asking the question, which I asked anyways, like, why me? Why did that happen to me? All that stuff, those questions that you can't answer and that are poison. And overall, just keeping a positive attitude, never thinking of, oh, what if, or this operation could go wrong, or this could happen at this operation, or whatever, stuff like that. I naively and thankfully kept not thinking about those things, which in hindsight is kind of funny, because then years later I fell into the anxiety thing, like the PTSD and all that stuff gave me health anxiety, which exactly produced those thoughts that kept questioning my health, my body, and all that stuff. And again, back to the question, like, how do you keep going through tough situations? And again, I don't have the answers. I don't have this magnificent formula or tip for you, but I know that going through this alone is, I think, pretty much impossible, or at least much harder. Having community, having family, having someone to push you is the best thing. Even strangers, I feel like, even strangers like online, if you find people online that keep pushing you, that doesn't really matter. It's about community, it's about the feeling that you're not alone, it's about the feeling of support and compassion and perspective. And with that, I want to just tell you, if you're going through something, you can also, leave a comment and we can talk, and you can hit me up on my Instagram or wherever. And life's tough, man. Life's tough. I'm sitting here with my dog in the back, listening to the rain. Finally some rain. And just being super thankful for this life, even though we as humans go through shit. Not always self-composed, but just sometimes it's just shit. Thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, and I appreciate you.